Welcome to the Dump and Chase podcast on 88.1 FM, WLRA The Start, Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois, on this special edition of the show, a 6-hour show for our Tequila DJ weekend here at WLRA. Today, Sunday, November 3rd. We're going to be on from noon to 6. This is Reid and Rebecca in the studio. And to start off our show today, we are joined by Lewis University Flyers hockey player Dylan Parshall. Dylan, thanks for being with us today. Glad you could come in. This should be a fun show. Jake will be joining us a little bit later, so we'll be back up to the normal crew. But for now, we're just going to kind of talk hockey with you, get to know you a little bit more, and kind of I think this will be a good way for fans of the team that have been listening to us broadcast your games, kind of connect with the players a little bit more, which is always good to have that extra connection. So to start off, just kind of tell us about yourself. Tell us how you got started playing hockey, kind of where you came from, and kind of your growing up with hockey.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in Florida, so that's not a big hockey state. So I didn't start playing until I was pretty late, until I moved up to Illinois, where my mom started dating a ref. And one Christmas Eve, I remember, they're just like, hey, we're going skating. And so we went to the rink and started skating, and before I knew it, I was buzzing around on the ice, and it was history from there.
kind of an otter startup, not
Yeah,
one that a lot of players have. What kind of really brought you to the sport? Like, as you said, you just started skating, but what was like the one thing that like made it stick for you? Because I know there's a lot of, as kids growing up, we try a lot of sports. You know, everyone goes through like the full gamut of youth sports, and somehow one always sticks. What was it for you with hockey?
Yeah, it was. I played a lot of sports growing up, like a lot of kids. I played soccer, pretty much every sport but tennis. And what really came down to it is that I never really, had 100% fun. Like I never had like the most fun possible until I started playing hockey. So it was pretty obvious to me that I needed to, switch into, honing my focus on ice hockey. So I quit football, started playing hockey. And I guess the challenge, it's not an easy sport by any means. I mean, you're skating on 3mm thick steel, going about 20 miles an hour, going full speed. So I get to hit, which is something that I really like doing. But I also get to, be around the boys. Yeah,
exactly. Kind of what made you want to play hockey in college? Take that step out from, or I should ask before this, what was your kind of progression of different levels of hockey? Because hockey is a ton of the different youth levels, and what was kind of your progression into juniors getting to college?
Yeah, I had a really, really tough go. I started out playing at the lowest level, obviously house league, like everyone else does. Progressed pretty quick to the AA. Then I actually went back down to house league I had a rough year, and then stayed AA, which is right under obviously AAA, which is the highest level you could play underage or under 18. And then as soon as I turned 18, I got signed to play junior hockey in the USPHL, which is a Tier 3 league up in the Midwest and East Coast regions. So I got to go and play juniors with that, which was awesome. And then from there, it's kind of like ingrained in everyone's head that like this sport gives so much to you than just being a sport. You learn so much, people skills and responsibility, accountability, and it just kind of leads into you just never want to leave the game. So college hockey is kind of a dream that everyone wants to have, especially at the junior level that I was playing at. So it was a no-brainer.
Kind of that next step. Yeah, you talk about the junior leagues. For people that may not understand how that whole system works, what is how does that connect to other things that are happening in your life? Because around like the age of 18, you're getting out of high school, transitioning into that next stage in your life. How does that work with like school and stuff? Because that's something that like I'm kind of curious about with as well. That whole kind of change of dynamic, I suppose.
Yeah. So it's pretty much like you choose. In the hockey, I guess you could say, or you choose a path. You either go right to college or you go play juniors. Juniors kind of gives you that opportunity to. It's a league that's made for 16-year-olds to 21-year-olds, so it's a very select age group. Generally, it's after high school, so a lot of the players will be 18 to 21. So I guess it's a pre-college. I would say is how the easiest way to describe it is a pre-college.
You played juniors. How many years did you play juniors?
Just one. I just played one.
Okay.
Yeah, just 1 year
in
juniors.
So you graduated high school. You went to play your year in juniors, and then you came to Lewis to play?
Yes, yeah. Okay. But in that process was pretty tough. I got traded more times than I could count. So I played in the Wisconsin Dells, Blaine, Minnesota, and back home in Chicago.
Okay.
So I got sent around a lot. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then through this time, did you know any of the guys that you now play with on the Lewis team playing in juniors?
Yeah, actually, Zach Bishop was one of my teammates at the Cougars, which is me and him are really close. It was actually a big part of him coming here was, the relationship that we have. I'm really happy he's here. He's a fantastic player. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What made you choose Lewis out of all the schools, especially, coming? You came from Florida. How old were you when you moved to Chicago?
I was around 8 years
You were around
old.
8. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've been here
I was pretty young. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been here for a majority of your life. Okay, got it. So was that kind of a deciding factor for Lewis coming here, especially to play, or what was all the decision-making process for you?
Honestly, the decision that I came here without knowing. I saw one of my best buddies from the team, which is Nick Mate. I live with him. He lives 2 minutes away from me down the street, back in Algonquin, where I'm from, or where I live in Illinois. And I saw him across the gym during that sword day, so I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then I was going to the bio table because I really wanted to be a bio major, and I saw pre-chiropractic, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. And I was like, wow, this is perfect. I get it has everything that I've ever really wanted to do. It's kind of close to home, but not really that close, so I don't have to go home. And I'm still away, still independent. But I could get that college feel.
Sure. So hockey was kind of a secondary thing for coming here that you kind of started? Okay.
Definitely. I was kind of lucky with the teams that I played for that was, our coaches and our staff would definitely, they tell you early on that don't pick a school because of hockey, because at the end of the day, it's only going to last for another 4 years. And then, so I just chose strictly off school, and now I'm here.
Nice. So during juniors, when you were playing that year, did you have any thought about wanting to play college hockey? Obviously, like you mentioned, it's kind of the dream for every guy in juniors to play, but did you ever think that you kind of follow through with that and actually play for a college team?
Yeah, like a lot of people in the junior, you think you're better than you are. You think that you're a lot better than you are. So I had these hopes of playing NCAA, that kind of thing, and it was I noticed quickly that wasn't going to be the way to go.
Sure. Talking about not going NCAA, tell us about the ACHA, the league that Lewis plays, and how it differs, and kind of the whole structure of it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so we play in the American Collegiate Hockey Association, which is technically club. Still, nonetheless, very, very high levels of hockey. Those select few players are the ones that make it to the Division I level, and majority of the Division I players are going to be making hundreds of $1,000s playing hockey. And I guess within that ACHA division, we play in the hardest one, which is the NCHL, Northern Collegiate Hockey League, where we have a lot of tough opponents, being Marion, Grand Valley State. We play Lindenwood. They're not in our conference, but they're a lot of the teams that we match up with over the years. So we definitely play a very, very, very tough schedule, as opposed to a lot of other clubs where you kind of see the scores get up there, and that everybody kind of thinks it's a joke from there. So it kind of gives the league a bad name. But our league, being the NCHL, is definitely something that we pride ourselves being in.
Sure,
keeps
keeps a little bit more competitive. And there are divisions within the ACHA as well, if I understand correctly. Okay.
Yeah, there's Division 3, Division 2, Division 1. Now we're Division 2. Division 1 isn't. It's. I know that NCAA is like off sizes and like funding and whatnot.
Sure.
That's not really the case in ACHA. It's kind of just like if you apply and you make it, you make it. And we just been staying D2. I know we had a D3 team before I came here. That one went away, and now that coach is actually coaching at DePaul, which is one of our rivals.
Sure,
so
got it. Okay,
kind of cool.
Nice. How's there? Obviously, what would be necessary for Lewis to make the jump to the NCAA program for hockey? What are kind of the shifts that would be required to take place for that to happen?
Now, I'm not I don't know like everything on this
Sure.
exact question, but I do know that one, we'd have to get a women's sport. I'm pretty sure there's something that we would have to get another sport.
Okay, to balance it out. Sure.
Yeah. Funding and a rink on campus. Those
Okay.
are the big thing. The rink on campus is a lot of the reasons that schools don't go NCAA, because
Sure.
they don't have the funding for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, got it. So there's a kind of that barrier. Maybe we should petition the university, get us a rink on campus. That would be
right,
great.
that'd be awesome.
Bring
fantastic.
you guys on campus. That would be fantastic. That would make our job a little bit easier broadcasting
Oh
it
yeah,
too.
for sure.
Talking about, we hear from a lot of NHL players giving up a lot, especially with the guys that start juniors early to play hockey. Anything that you really gave up? You talked about giving up football a little bit, but anything outside or inside of school or your personal life that you had to kind of sacrifice to get to where you are in your career?
Yeah, I had to miss a lot of homecomings, the majority of the proms too. It's you miss a lot of stuff with the school and with your friends. Everybody's partying while you're out on a bus trip randomly. Everyone's coming home for breaks, and you only got a week-long break before you got to go back to fly to Boston to play in a showcase. So it's just kind of, I guess, priorities. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess you just kind of you lose that that friendship, I guess you could say. Now, not like entirely, but you kind of just everybody just understands at the end of the day that you got other things to do, and everybody just understands. So it's not really a bad thing missing all this stuff. Like you're playing a sport, everyone gets it, but proms and homecoming.
You kind of shift from that traditional high school life to having the athlete on the side. Especially
exactly.
with the travel, like you said, that's more involved. They're playing juniors. Is there any NHL players that you looked up to growing up playing hockey that you tried to model your game after?
Yeah, Paul Bissonnette. He's more of a off-ice character now. Anyway, he's Spittin' Chicklets. I'm sure you're aware of that. Got the same number too, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I really focus on the locker room aspect of it.
Okay.
I feel like that's where I can really bring the most to the team. I'm not exactly the most skilled guy out there, but I definitely can bring the team up and make everybody laugh and have that aspect of my game. So I really like those players. Him being the number one guy. And obviously the Wayne Gretzky's, Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane. You can't go wrong with any of those players. Yep. But mainly I would stick to somebody like that, or the fourth line guys like Shaw or Bickle. Bickle is a big one too.
Sure.
The
ones
just
that are
grinding
out there every night. Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't really realize that, being if you don't really play.
Sure.
And playing juniors, obviously I'm not a pro guy, so I don't understand what they're going through, but I kind of understand with having to fight for a spot in the lineup, having to do things you don't really want to do, like maybe fighting somebody who's 30 pounds heavier than you, which is not very fun.
Sure.
But sometimes you got to do it. So
yeah, kind of having that role that not a lot of people think about. The third and fourth liners can kind of go unmentioned a lot, but their effect can definitely be seen. You talked about your number. Your number. I'm blanking on
12.
this now. Number 12. There we go. Yep.
Yeah.
I've called how many games this season? I still can't remember.
No worries.
Any reason behind that number? Has it changed? Through juniors and through your high school career?
Yeah. I didn't even want 12 to begin with. It was I switched clubs, so I had to get a new jersey, and on the way that they do it is the minors had 1 through 21 and the majors had 21 through 50. So
okay,
you just got thrown a number, and I was the 12th guy, and I tried making things in my head like gotta have 1 and 2 before you have 3. I don't know. There's really no meaning for it whatsoever.
Trying to find
trying to justify
something out of it.
Yeah.
Got it. And it's just kind of stuck since with that. You've been 12 ever since.
Yeah, I never really changed it, and then. Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of weird. I really like it now. It's my favorite number I've ever had. But,
sure.
Or as opposed to 68. My mom was born in 68, and my dad was in the Navy, so on the Nimitz, which is an aircraft carrier, number 68. So I had 68 originally.
Cool.
So yeah, that's great story for a number, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then now I got 12, even though I could probably switch back to 68. I stick with 12.
So now you're just with 12. You've been there for a little bit. Can't change what's or can't fix what's not broken, I guess. But,
yeah, exactly. I love
it. Speaking of NHL teams, what team do you personally follow?
I'm more of an NHL guy. There's not a team that I really go for. Vegas is my number one. I love the jersey, by the way.
Thank you.
Tampa's up there too, from Florida.
You'll like Jake then, when he comes. Yeah,
I love Tampa.
Rebecca's over here shaking her head with her Blackhawks shirt on.
Oh, hold on, they're coming. The Blackhawks. Obviously, I gotta love the Hawks.
Sure.
They're the hometown
they're the best team.
The best is I don't know about that.
Yeah,
right? Or the past couple of years. They're a rebuild though, so they'll be back up to their superpowers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to the start of your college career, what was kind of what was going through your head when you were told that you had this opportunity to play and that you made the team, and that you'd be playing for Lewis? What were you feeling?
I was just like, I was very excited. I was fine. I was really happy that all my hard work paid off from juniors, which was my main worry, right? Like that caused me the most anxiety. Was like, what if I did this and it didn't do anything, and and I just wasted a year of my life going through, physical and mental, emotional hell, pretty much, for what you have to go through.
Sure.
And I was worried that I was going to be for nothing, and then when I made the team, I was super excited, right? Like, freshman coming into college, playing for a college team. It's pretty sweet. You get all the new gear, and you're pretty happy about that.
What was it like stepping onto the ice the first time as a Flyer? What was the emotion? What was running through your head from your first game that you played?
In the locker room, that was a tough part. On the ice, when you're on the ice, everything kind of fades away. Really,
Sure.
Nothing really matters. You're not
Sure.
really thinking too much. You're only really focusing on the game. But in the locker room, let me tell you, it was tough. It was tough because you come in on Hell Week, which is exactly how it sounds. It's a week of hell.
Sure.
So you do physical testings and team building activities that involve you like carrying people up, hills. So you're definitely nervous for sure, but as soon as you come on the ice, it's just bad. It's just another day at the office, really.
Exactly. Yeah. You're back playing the sport that you love, and it's just for a different team this time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about off ice a little bit. You talk about being a locker room presence. How has that have you always tried to kind of be that guy in the locker room, or has that kind of shifted throughout your career? And now, being in a more senior role on the team here at Lewis, has that shifted at all?
Yeah, it's progressed, kind of like a ladder, right? Like I started, I would be the quiet kid on the team, and as the years went on, I got more and more open. And then it actually wasn't until juniors where it really changed. I got stuck, or not stuck. I love this guy to death with my coach up in the Dells. And it was tough. It was a really tough time, and I kind of learned from a lot of what he was talking about. Was like, you got to be accountable, you got to be loud. You're only strong as your weakest link, and you got to bring everyone together, and that's how the team is going to thrive. And we did very, very well. I mean, they were national champions for multiple years. I mean, they're fantastic team, fantastic coach. So I took a lot of what he said, and I feel like that's when it really changed. Was when I'm coming into Lewis is when like I came in from just being like that. The guy who throw out a couple jokes here and there,
Sure.
Raise the voice to like actually meaning something when I'm saying it, kind of thing.
Sure, kind of seeing what impact you need to have. Yeah,
exactly.
You're also an assistant captain, correct?
Correct.
For the team. How many years have you been an assistant for Lewis?
2, yeah.
2 years.
So
okay.
Freshmen, they don't give any freshman letters,
Sure.
and then after that, Matt Ernsting's our captain, Chris Esty, Joey Fiandaca, and me are the assistants.
Okay. What did you feel when you were named assistant? Obviously, being a little bit of a different role on the team. How did kind of your mentality shift at that point as well?
It just it kind of just became more of like a job, right? It just became more meaningful. Like whereas you can go play pond hockey, and it's pond hockey's still hockey,
Yeah,
but it's a different kind.
Yep.
So I'm still a locker room guy, but it's just a different style of locker room guy. Like you gotta make sure people are going to workouts, doing all the stuff that they need to do, rehabbing, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of, definitely not babysitting.
Sure.
But you got to kind of watch over a little bit.
Sure. So there's more off-ice responsibilities with it. What about
for sure?
What about on-ice being an assistant? Like during a game, is there any other responsibilities you have?
I would honestly say that the biggest responsibility for, especially my role, is just kind of going out on the ice and doing my job and laying a body, getting loud, making sure everyone's, like fueling up,
Sure.
So like getting ready to go and getting pumped up, and yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much
being that motivator for the guys
exactly.
on the ice, yeah.
And I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it. I like to think so, but I don't know. Maybe.
Every team kind of needs that one presence, when you're down in a game to get everyone, hyped up a little bit more, kind of keep the eye on the prize too.
Yeah,
which is,
exactly.
Which is kind of what kind of the role you fill, I see.
Yeah.
Let's talk about academics. Your major is chiropractic?
No, it's exercise and movement science.
Exercise and movement science, okay.
But going to chiropractic.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
What made you want to go into that?
Juniors. I got traded for so what would normally be a really tough thing for people, getting traded to, luckily it was home, but getting traded, it's not a good plot. You got to pack up everything, you got to move.
Sure.
It sucks. But I got the first day of practice in Chicago. My coach comes up, he's like, hey, here's your stall, here's all your stuff. Oh yeah, upstairs there's a chiropractor here if you want. I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, oh yeah, just go up there, you have adjustments every practice. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went up there. this guy did his thing and made me feel fantastic. Had a great practice, and I kind of started looking up the field, and then I ended up finding out that you could be in sports for your whole entire life with this.
Sure.
My goal is to be a sports chiropractor, which is a master's in sports science, and then a doctorate in chiropractic. So I'm still going to be staying in the field, or staying in the sport of hockey,
Sure.
which is kind of the main goal. And I get to help people, which is my main goal.
That's cool. That's cool. What kind of have you learned on the ice that you can take into your studies and into your career eventually?
Well, hockey's a rough sport. You get a lot of injuries. So within that, you learn how to treat them, what they look like, symptoms of it, how to tell the rehab, like all this stuff that now, being in the years of playing hockey, that I have almost a leg up over my classmates, because I know of these issues of stuff that that's very common in contact sports, and which is obviously a majority of what the field of chiropractic is gonna be, especially for me, the sports chiro, being a sports team.
Sure.
So working and learning kind of while playing, you just remember a little bit easier.
Sure. We touched on a little earlier, you guys being a club sport here at Lewis, not being NCAA. What kind of assistance, or kind of like what stuff do you get from the university? I should say. I know we talked to your coach earlier in the year. Talked about the locker room that you guys have at Canlan coming from the university.
Yes.
What else do they all provide you guys, and what do you guys kind of have to fill in the gaps between what you guys get and what like a NCAA player would get from the school?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I wish I did. I don't know what the NCAA people get and how that works. I know some of the stuff is included in a team fee. Hockey's an expensive sport.
Yes.
I know the school gives us a lot of money for travel and for ice time, which is a lot of money. Each one of our practices is hundreds of dollars, especially being off campus, and then the locker rooms, thousands of dollars. So
Sure.
we get a lot from the school, but the little odds and ends, like maybe if you want an extra sweatshirt, you got to buy an extra sweatshirt kind of thing. But to answer I wish I knew, but I really don't.
You guys do get some smaller stuff. You guys got backpacks recently, correct?
Yes,
I remember hearing
backpack.
about those.
Yeah,
those are cool.
Yeah.
And you guys are getting third jerseys. We talked about this a little bit before we came on air.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those.
They have been ordered,
Nice.
and so they are the Carolina third jerseys, which is a mainly blacked out look
Sure.
with a blacked out Lewis logo, a skyline on the bottom, and then a couple airplanes on there. Giving a little homage to Lewis here.
Sure.
Being a flight school.
So you guys are going to wear those at home then? Those will kind of become your home jerseys, or
It's
they're going to be worked in the rotation?
Yeah, it's mainly just worked in the rotation, being
Okay.
a third jersey,
Sure.
like maybe special occasion nights. It's just kind of whenever we feel like it. If the colors are close,
Sure.
I know that'll be really easy. If somebody's wearing white and they're white and red, and we're wearing our reds, we'll just wear the black ones.
Just wear the black
just
ones,
to
sure.
avoid all that.
Sure.
mix up.
I imagine there's a little bit of communication between teams, when they come here, because with you guys wear white at home. So I imagine with clashing colors and stuff, I don't know what the ACHA has for jersey regulations about what you can and can't wear, if one team needs to be in white or things like that.
Yeah, honestly, I know the ACHA's got a few, like some pretty weird rules
Sure.
about that. Luckily, I don't have to know all of them. I know it would be super tough, because I hear our coaches talk about it these guys have to wear their whatever color for this. So
Sure. Nice.
You just adapt.
Yeah, let's talk end of season for you guys. What kind of conference tournament is there? We hear about with NCAA hockey, you have the Frozen Four, the big national championship. What's kind of the equivalent for you guys in the ACHA?
So it's regionals and the nationals, still kind of the same thing. The top 6 make it into
Okay.
playoffs. And within there, they go to regionals. Number 1 gets a auto bid to nationals in each division. You play. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's you lose and then you're out.
Okay.
And then from there you go to nationals, and nationals would be like the final 4.
Sure.
And then you win nationals, which would be like winning the whole entire, obviously, the league.
Okay. So that's
pretty similar.
that's for your division. So that would be Division 2.
Yeah, all
Okay.
of Division 2. I don't know how many leagues there are. There's a lot of leagues.
Okay.
Just because of the geography
Sure.
that goes behind it.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to say there's like 7 or 8
Okay.
leagues. So then they'll take like the top 6, and it goes by pretty quick. I want to say it's only a week long. I haven't been yet until this year.
Fingers
hopefully,
crossed. Yep.
Fingers crossed that we're going to be making it this
Yep.
year. Yeah, it's pretty equivalent to
Sure.
it's just not as broadcasted and
Sure.
not as well known
Sure.
as the Final Four.
That makes sense. Well, I think we'll take a quick break, play a couple songs. We'll be back with Dylan a little bit more after this. You're listening to the Dump and Chase podcast on 88.1 FM, WLRA The Start. Welcome back to the Dump and Chase podcast on 88.1 FM, WLRA The Start, Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois. Reid and Rebecca in the studio, once again joined by Flyers defenseman Dylan Parshall. And speaking of your position, Dylan, why did you choose to be a defenseman?
I'm actually not a defenseman.
You aren't. Did I get that wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. No, I do
Okay.
play D. I do
Okay.
play defense. You are right.
You got me scared there. Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry for answering like that. I don't play D. I never have played D until
Okay.
I played in college.
Okay.
Yeah, I just needed some guys back there, and I happen to know how to block a shot and take the bodies. So.
Okay, so you played forward before
Oh
college.
yeah, I
Got
played
it.
forward
Okay.
my whole entire life.
Okay.
Well, it had been 8 years beforehand.
Got it.
And then this will be my second year playing D.
Okay, so the roster says that you're a defenseman, but like truly, you're
I'm
you're
a
forward.
forward by
Okay.
trade.
Got it. Okay. Making the switch defense, this kind of messes up my next question.
I'm so sorry.
What do you like playing, or what do you like about playing defense? Now that you've played it a couple seasons, is there things that stand out compared to being a forward that you kind of prefer to it?
Yeah, there's not as much skating. That's the first one. There's definitely not as much skating. A lot more hitting, which is something that I like to do. It's one of my roles too.
Sure.
And you kind of just get to see the game from a different angle, which is you don't really appreciate it until you go back and play forward.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird, like going from a game and playing forward to defense. You see the game completely different. So it just adds another level of I don't know, kind of excitement in the game, I would
Sure,
say.
just a little bit of a different perspective.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What does your guys' off-season training look like?
So our off-season training is mainly consist of workouts. There really is no on-ice in the off-season.
Okay.
We throw a few skates here and there, especially when it gets closer to the season, prospect skates, warm-up skates, that kind of thing. But we got a trainer, JD. He makes a program for us, and we train with him. So, yeah, it's pretty much we just go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. A lot of Thursdays stretch, and then the weekends are normally off in the
Sure.
off season. But a lot of times the guys will be hitting the gym around 6 days a week.
Sure. You talked about the prospect skate that you guys have. What kind of importance do you guys play being on the team for helping recruit guys and for kind of, if a kid comes and visits the school, is there any role that you guys play? Will like coach bring you guys along for visits to kind of meet the new guys that are prospective students?
Yeah, actually, we do a majority of the stuff. I've done the campus tour for our prospects 2 years in a row, so I actually do the campus tours. It's pretty focused on us doing it. We really want to make them feel comfortable, which I think is awesome because you really do kind of get to make them feel a little bit more welcome because it's tough going in. You're very overwhelmed. You're very intimidated by these older guys. A lot of them are 18. I'm 21, so they're already right there. We got that's something that's going to make them intimidated.
Sure.
And then just kind of letting them, get a feel for what we actually are like and not the coaches, so they don't have to be scared, but kind of just so it's a kid, that we're talking kid to kid, so it's pretty nice.
Make them feel at home.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
them used to that college experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you guys do as a team to kind of raise awareness that you guys, are kind of a legit athletic program, even though you're in like the club sports program? Like that's kind of the one thing that we realized when we started broadcast games, like this program is for real, like they're listed on the website. No, they're under the club sports program, but like this is a for real program. They have like the backing from the university at times, and this is like a big athletic program. What do you guys do for the people that may not know as much about that, and what kind of you guys are?
Yeah, it's actually it's kind of funny. It's like the running joke, like they'll say like, hey, we do have a hockey team on campus because nobody really knows about it.
Sure.
Especially, I guess, before we came in before my year, so 3 years ago, I guess really nobody really knew about it that much. Obviously, the people who like hockey, they're going to find out that there's a hockey team. But the
Sure.
people who don't know about hockey or don't like it, they really don't even care to know. So social media is pretty big. Getting the word of mouth is huge. That's pretty much how we get it, all is through word of mouth. And just kind of not being complete degenerates is really helpful because I know I'm serious. So I know in the past there's been a lot of hockey players that don't get looked at as being the nicest
Sure.
guys or people off the ice, but when people kind of realize that we're not a like we don't follow the stereotypes, it makes it a little bit easier.
Kind of, keeping up that integrity of the program.
Exactly.
Sure. You guys have had a couple fundraisers this year. There's one at Chipotle and another one at Culver's. What was kind of the reason that you guys did that, and how do those fundraisers help out the program?
Yeah, so we lost a few kids, not in the death way. Sorry, I should have reworded that one. Like through graduating and moving on, not being able to play hockey because of injuries. So that kind of helps fill up their player fees, I guess, and just kind of gives us more room to play with on this. So for traveling, food, all that kind of stuff. And also we're paying off the debts from the people who gave the hockey team a rough image. So
got it.
We gotta finish off all that kind of stuff. And
sure.
From there we'll build.
That makes sense. Let's talk about your coaching staff. Tim Pico and Mark Marfies, head coach and assistant. Pico this is his last season, correct?
Correct.
Coaching.
Yeah.
And Marfies is going to take the reins.
Yes.
Next year. And you're a senior, correct?
No, I'm a junior.
You're a junior.
Junior. Yes.
Okay, got it. How do you expect that transition to be, and how has the transition of coaching staff already kind of taken place this season?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of can see from. First off, both fantastic coaches. Just get that out of the way. They're great people. They're great coaches. But you kind of just see like where Pico, which is our head coach, would where he'd normally be doing all of it. He's kind of given Mark the free rein to kind of step in, do a lot of the talking, and which I know is probably not easy for Pico to do that because I know he likes being that guy, which is I do too. So I mean I understand. But yeah, Mark's doing a great job. He's handling it very well. I know it's his first time being with older like this age group.
Okay.
I know I'm almost 100% certain he was the JV head coach at Providence.
Okay.
So he's definitely had some good players through him and good coaching, and you could tell from how he coaches.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like Pico's just kind of letting him do a little bit more and more, whereas it normally wouldn't be like that.
Sure. So Marfies came from that kind of high school background. What kind of coaching background does Pico have in terms of what he did before this? How long has he been coaching here, first of all?
He has been coaching here for, I want to say, like 9 years.
Okay.
So he's been coaching here for a while. He started when the program was nothing, where there was no locker room, like the jerseys were, it was tough. It was real tough. And he kind of built that program up, and I really have a lot. I can't say enough things about Pico for what he's done for this program because he has done so much and really grown this. And he coached like almost pretty much little kids, really. I mean, yeah, he just coached like little programs like the Jaguars out of Camlin, which is where we play. Camlin and Inwood, I want to say, is their other rink.
Okay,
so
got it.
Yeah.
Last question before we let you go. You got to get to work eventually, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But what do you want to say to people that may be listening that don't know that Lewis has a hockey team, or even fans out there? Like what's kind of the team's message to people that may not have watched hockey before? What can you guys provide to them if they come to a game or even listen on the radio?
Honestly, that's a good question. I'd say it's just a fun atmosphere. I mean, you get to, there's a lot of hitting, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of skilled players out here. It's obviously not going to be as like an NHL game, but you'll definitely have a lot of fun, which is the most important part. And you get a lot of students come too, so it's you see a lot of groups, and you get to be with your groups, and it just makes it a little bit more fun. And there's also like they sell drinks and whatnot, and food, so you get to do that.
Sure.
And 21 plus drinks as well. If you are of age, they do sell those at the rink. They also have fantastic chicken tenders. So if you like chicken tenders, they're great there too. But yeah, just come out, try it, and I know that any of you guys that come out here, you'll know that it's definitely fun. You'll come back for more than that. Just one game. It's
a great atmosphere at Camlin when you guys are playing. Especially when the students are there. Most Fridays have a great student crowd. At the games, and they get loud and make sure
very
to
loud. It's awesome. You get a big hit and everybody goes nuts and score a big goal, and before you know it, you can barely hear the coaches saying who's going out next. So
it really is a fantastic atmosphere, and I think something that a lot more people should know about and come to the games, because it's a great program, and it's a fun sport to watch, and especially college hockey. You guys are all out there grinding. It's for the love of the game, really.
Exactly. And we appreciate everything you guys have been doing. We really do. Honestly, you guys are awesome.
It's been
Fantastic.
A lot of fun. Yeah. Well, Dylan, thank you for coming on the show with us today. It's been
Absolutely.
great to sit down and talk with you. We'll be on the air for the next 5 hours. We'll be on until 6. That's just kind of hard to say at this point. We're so far out. But Dylan, thanks for being on the show today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Dump and Chase on 88.1 FM, WLRA The Start, Lewis University in Romeoville. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Dump and Chase podcast on 88.1 FM, WLRA The Start, Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois. We are now in hour number 2 of our 6-hour show today. If you are just tuning in, we will be on the air until 6 o'clock tonight as a part of the first show of our Tequila DJ week. The first hour, we were joined by Flyers defenseman Dylan Parshall. We talked with him, his hockey journey, what's it like to play collegiate hockey, and just got to know him a little bit more. So if you missed that, make sure to stay tuned to our YouTube channel for when that is uploaded in the near future. Once we get this episode up, that was a great interview, so we thank him for being on there. But we're going to stay on the topic of Lewis hockey for a little bit longer, because we like talking about it. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to broadcast. So we're going to do a little season or mid-season review, I guess you could say. They're just around the halfway point. They have a series coming up this coming weekend?
Yep, this coming weekend on the 8th and 9th.
Against UW Oshkosh. So it's kind of around, and that'll be, after they play that series, that'll be their halfway point.
Yep.
So we're going to look back at their results and kind of see how the teams have been doing this season.
So, yeah, let's look at their first game that started on September 13th and 14th, their first series versus Bowling Green, which we broadcasted both of those games for. The first one was a 3-1 result, and a great win for the Flyers, and then the second one was an 8-4 win in the second game. And we did broadcast that second game, and boy, that was a...
We broadcasted both games that series.
Yeah, we broadcasted both games, but that second game in particular was just a complete 180 from what we saw in that first game.
That second game was crazy.
Yeah,
that's when we had, the 9 goals
in
one
the 9
period?
Goals in one period.
That was wild.
12 penalties at
12
period.
penalties or something, yeah.
That was actually, oddly enough, that was probably one of the most, crazy, I guess you could say, games that was on the schedule. That was probably the most crazy one of the season so far.
Yeah, that one was wild. There was a lot of hockey. That second period took an hour in real time or something like that.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The first period was just all offense from both teams. It was just all scoring, and then the second period was just all fighting, all penalties, all disciplinary
and some
actions.
scoring thrown in there too. Yeah,
yeah, and some scoring thrown in there too. But it was just a lot of time, that was a lot of just timeouts and all of that. So.
Yeah, that was a good series to open the year, though.
Oh yeah, it really was.
Got them off on the right foot. Which
that was kind of
fantastic to see.
Yeah, that was kind of like the game that was the tone setter for what we were expecting.
Yep.
And then we went to the Bradley game on the 27th and 28th. I think we only did that one Bradley game on the 28th.
Yeah, I think we did the Saturday game.
And there was a loss 5-2, but that game too was it was tough because that was Lewis's first loss that we witnessed to.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of were thinking, the offense is going to get back in it, and, the power play is their bread and butter, so to speak.
Bread and butter, our favorite term. Yep.
Your favorite term.
My favorite term. In my defense, though, that was in one of the coach interviews, and it's just kind of stuck in my head, and I just kept saying it.
Yep. So, yeah, we went to that Bradley game thinking, okay, so after the first game was 5-3, the second game they could rebound, but it was a tough game. They couldn't really get out of their zone. I think I remember that they just had a hard time on offense.
Bradley was a good team, though.
Yeah, Bradley was a good team.
Bradley
is a good team. That's one of the biggest things too.
They were a tough team to play against.
Yeah, they sure were. So we took the first series loss, and then they went on the road, and then we went on the road with the Flyers.
Yep.
Versus Concordia.
Back to the homeland.
Back to the homeland of Germantown.
As John Kerry would say, the home country of Wisconsin.
The home country of Wisconsin, yep.
In Concordia, Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, I did it again.
Concordia, Wisconsin.
I did it again. Concordia University.
Concordia is not a town. In Mequon,
Mequon, Wisconsin. Yes.
Where were those games played, Jake? The what ice center?
Ozaki Ice Center. There we go. I can't believe I remember that, but not Mequon. Okay, so the first one we did, it resulted in a tie. That was the most bizarre ending we've seen in hockey. It was very weird because
Mostly because we just had no way of communicating with the official score to figure out what was happening.
Yeah, exactly. So we were confused. Like, they were taking off. So, like, when the third period ended on air, and we were just, like, kind of wondering what was going on, why the coaches were on their benches, why the officials were talking to the coaches, so, like, skating back and forth, talking to both coaches. And we were just sitting there saying, okay, we're trying to figure out what's going on for this, for after overtime or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so all of them played overtime, and apparently the rule is for Division II ACHA is that it's a coach's decision whether to go to a shootout or to just end the game in a tie.
Well, I think they could keep playing overtime as well.
Yeah, they could also.
I think there's a whole slew of options.
Yeah, there's a weird slew of options apparently in this weird division. So they decided to tie because what we found when Coach Pico in his interview the next day when they played Concordia for the second game is that both teams were just very tired and they didn't feel like that they should put their players through more fatigue by playing more of a game. So they took the tie, and both teams I think get the 2 points. I think it was.
I don't know how the point system works.
I think
maybe
Coach
8 points.
Pico, yeah. I
can't remember, honestly.
I don't remember, but I think Coach Pico said something about getting some points from ties, but
yeah.
So they did get some kind of points. And then the second game, it looked like the Flyers were gonna find a way to kind of win this game with that chip on their shoulder.
Came out a lot faster that game.
They did, but at the same time, we also kind of expected both teams were gonna play at a slower pace, just because this is not even 24 hours after the first game.
Yep.
So this is going to be we kind of were expecting a little bit of a slow-paced game. And then the Flyers went up 1-0 early in the first period.
Yep.
And we're stuck at 1-0 all the way up until 5 minutes to go in the third period.
It was more like 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, 3 minutes to go, I think. So, I mean, 3 minutes to go in the third period in regulation time, and Concordia ties the game. And then they get the game-winning goal with
like 35
seconds left.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a complete just change in the third period, and the Flyers just could not get out of their zone at all.
It was an unfortunate end because, like, that whole game you're thinking, like, oh, man, we're going to do it. Here we go. We're going to win. And then we're sitting in our zone. Yeah, we're sitting on our heels in our zone. I honestly couldn't believe what happened.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
We just needed to get the puck out, and Concordia was just relentless on keeping that puck in the zone.
I was having flashbacks on Vegas's and San Jose's Game 7 last year.
Oh,
just
goodness.
Being like, oh, what? It just happened, Obviously not to the scale that was. But that was an unfortunate game.
It also just tells you that hockey literally can change within seconds.
Oh, exactly.
This game, the game just can change within a flash.
No lead is safe.
Yeah, exactly.
A 1-0 lead or even a 2-0 lead.
A 5-0 lead is not safe. That's the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 1. 4-0.
2-goal leads are like the hardest leads to hold.
Yeah.
They
are.
Because if your opponent gets one goal, they're now back within one, they got that momentum, and a 1-goal lead is obviously even trickier to hold because they're just within one, but
it was weird too because when the Flyers were holding that 1-0 lead, it seemed like you could have held that 1-0 lead better than you could have held a 4-0 or 3-0 lead.
Yeah,
because that defense was playing lights out for that second period.
They were playing really well. Yep.
And they really were playing well all the way up until 5 minutes to go in the third period when they just could not get the puck out of their own zone.
Yeah, which it happens though.
And there were a bit of power play opportunities too for Concordia in that third period too. Yep. So that also just was a big momentum shifter for them too.
Guys were getting tired. It's a lot of hockey in a short period of time, but.
Yeah, so that was our most memorable game. We could actually make an argument for our next game at Purdue Northwest.
Yeah.
But that was a very memorable game itself.
That was just fun broadcasting on the road, too.
It really was. That was
fun.
That was a lot of fun. It really was.
We got a warm welcome by the team and by the staff at the rink there, so that was good, too.
Yeah. All we needed was an Ethernet.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Luckily, we had that because the Wi-Fi just did not like middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
No. Anyway, so that was a tie and a loss for the Flyers on that series. Then they rebounded the next series on the 18th and 19th when they played Purdue Northwest on the road as well, winning 7-2 in the first game and then 7-6 in overtime on the next game.
I really wish we could have called that second game.
Oh man,
That
I
would've
really
been fun.
wish. Yeah, it would have been great to see that.
That would have been fun, but
yeah, it really.
that
would've
first
been.
game was a big win. Obviously, 7-2. I'm kind of curious to kind of. I wish we could kind of rewatch the second game to just
Yeah.
kind of watch it. See what lead changes there were and stuff, and the whole sequence of events that happened. And,
Yeah.
and the
Especially
whole
if it's
overtime
that
as
high
well.
scoring.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
goodness.
especially, I feel like if like the Lewis team in that game, you just come off that big 7-2 win, and you're going to overtime tied 6-6. You're probably thinking like, oh boy, like what's happening. I feel like there had to be some sort of like wake up call almost. I feel in that game, being like, okay, we absolutely stuck it to these guys last game.
Yeah.
And now we're here. Like, what do we need to shift? So.
And I also want to see it because one of our professors here, Tracy Hemingway, her son plays on DePaul.
Yes.
And they played them, and she said it was like a really aggressive game.
Yeah.
There were a lot of penalties.
Yep.
But I didn't hear anything from any of the hockey players about any big fights or
Yeah.
anything that happened.
I
So
I
I'm
didn't either.
wondering if it was like that and we just didn't hear it,
I don't know.
or
I kind of want to know now. We need to get the scoop about the Purdue Northwest series to see what happened.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually gonna try to look up the box score too on ACHA
If we can
to
find
see.
that, yeah.
Yeah, because they actually have some box.
Watch
scores.
like all 12 goals be scored in the third period or something like that.
It's just
the
all of
third
them there.
period takes 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh
goodness.
boy, that would be a lot of hockey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was. But
The next series after that though was the one we most recently broadcasted was Lewis versus Robert Morris. The Hockey Fights Cancer weekend. Game 1, they dropped 6-5, a close one. A very close game. Obviously 6-5, 1 goal differential, so very close. But the second game, the one that we broadcasted, that one was it was
That was a fun game
that
to
was
watch.
probably the best one that we'd seen.
yeah, it really
7-2, 4 goals by Chris Esty, 2 by Nick Mate, and Michael Ligas getting his first collegiate goal. That was a fun game. You could tell that Lewis came out with a little chip on their shoulder from the night before. They came out with a little bit of vengeance. You could see it. They were out skating Robert Morris so well. They
Yeah.
just looked so much more polished and so much more put together, I guess you could say. Just everything was clicking, whereas Robert Morris, there were missed passes, trouble getting it out of the zone, so
They had a hard time trying to just get in center ice. I
Yeah.
mean, like throughout the game, I kind of said it throughout the broadcast. It's just they were skating in their own zone, finding a way to rush the puck, but then the forecheck for the Flyers was just all over center ice. They were disrupting timing, disrupting passing lanes, forechecking on the boards on center ice, and they just forced it back in, kept forcing it back in the
Yep.
zone. And yeah, Robert Morris just kept skating around,
Robert Morris
not
had
being able to do much.
so many problems in the neutral zone as well.
Yeah,
Just getting those passes, like those transition passes,
yeah, exactly.
just struggling with that so much, being able to find their guy. Whereas Lewis, it seemed like every time they were having like 2-on-1s, they were pushing them hard offensively. So
yeah,
that was a great game to watch. There was a lot of energy in the building as well.
and it was really memorable since it was the Hockey Fights Cancer game, and it really was a memorable game just because of all the players just being able to work together as a team
Yep.
and just finding ways to score in a 7-2 final, no less, in their purple in their purple jerseys, in a 7-2 route too.
Yep.
And the purple jerseys were so nice.
Those were nice
The
jerseys.
last names on the back.
Yeah.
I would just give anything to have those every game.
The third jerseys will have names on the back, though.
Yes.
We found that
Those
out today.
third jerseys look
When are those third
really nice.
When are they coming?
They've been ordered.
Okay, they've been ordered.
Dylan confirmed that they have been ordered.
Okay, but do we know when they're gonna play?
We do not know.
with it?
He said
Hopefully
they were
the
going to
next-
work them into rotation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Also, just
I don't know. They're pretty great though.
I just pulled up
Yeah.
the box score for the
Second Purdue-
Flyers and Purdue Northwest game.
Yeah.
First period was 3-2 Northwest.
Okay.
Then 3-3 apiece in period 2.
So
So it was 6-5 coming into the third period.
okay.
And then the third period, the Flyers were able to score
Scored the
just the
equalizer,
one
sure.
equalizer, and then go to overtime to win it 7-6.
Who scored the OT winner? Does it say?
Let's see. Connor Johnson scoring the first one.
Oh,
Madej. Oh, and here the overtime was Matt Morrow.
Matt Morrow with the overtime winner. Congrats to him. That's always fun.
Connor Johnson got the tying goal too, so he got
He had two at least.
The first goal and the tying goal.
Nice.
So.
Started it off and almost ended it. Nice.
Yep, Madej was on the board. Morrow actually had another goal too. Sharp got on the board. Pakal got on the board too. So
Lots of guys scoring. That's always good to see.
Lots of scoring. So their first and second lines too.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Compared to that second Robert Morris game where it was Esty and Madej carrying the scoring. You could tell it was hilarious too throughout that third period. Both looking at Chris Esty and Nick Madej. Madej, you could tell he wanted the third goal. Every time he got the puck, he was going for it, which was fun to see. But Chris Esty, he had 4 goals already, and he's still, he'll like take a shot, get saved by the goalie. He'll still look disappointed that it didn't hit the back of the net.
That was so funny when we were doing that Robert Morris game when he got that shot from like all the way from like the blue line and he missed by like an inch of the crossbar.
You seem like
he was
shaking
still
his head.
Frustrated.
Exactly. Yeah. Even with 4 goals on the board, he was still frustrated. But
they're still winning at like 7-1 at this point.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But that was a fun game. They've all been fun games, though. I must say, it's fun to watch college hockey. It's a different breed of hockey. The guys just are out there playing for the love of the sport, which is great to see.
Okay. Also, in that Purdue Northwest game, the shot totals: 58 for Lewis compared to 27 for Northwest.
Wow.
Yeah. So 6 goals on 27 shots.
I mean, that's not bad. Any other game that wins it.
Wow. I mean, but for Lewis to have 58 shots.
That's almost once a minute.
Wait, okay. Actually, I got to look up the Concordia game because whenever I told you that the shot differential was like 50 to like, 20 or something, I thought it was like a mishap in the scoreboard, but I want to double check.
I don't think they were updating that in real time, though.
I don't think so. But
I think it was being updated at the end of each period.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to fact check myself
Find
on
that
that
out,
because
though, too.
Lewis in the season, they really take a lot of shots on offense.
They do.
Which is a good thing.
Yes.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
That's one thing I can't stand when watching hockey and like teams run the power play and all they do is pass it. And then they wonder why they have like 30 seconds left and no shots on goal. I'm like, just shoot the puck.
Just
please.
shoot the puck.
Like, it can't go in if it's nowhere close to the goal.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's not going to teleport into the back of the net when you're passing it around. You have to shoot it eventually.
That's what I like. I even say that in NHL too. But like, I see so many NHL teams just don't put shots on net because they're getting so creative.
Vegas does that a ton on their power play, and it's so annoying.
I had that with the Tampa Bay Lightning not even 2 years ago when like they were the number one scoring offense, but they always did it in creative ways. So anytime they faced a good defense, they didn't take any shots on net because they were just doing things way too much on offense, and they were just not taking shots. I'm like, there's room, there's space, just take the shot. You never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not exactly what a lot of teams do. But
yeah, but it's good to see that though. It makes the games more fun.
And I think there was a line that Eddie Olczyk said is that when you put the puck on net, it's just. It somehow sometimes the bounces can go your way.
Yep.
And the puck will just miraculously find its way into the net. But you won't ever find out if you don't put the puck on the net.
Exactly. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, exactly. That line too.
Michael Scott. My favorite hockey quote.
Exactly.
But anyway, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more hockey talk. We'll look through the future games for the Flyers after a little bit of music here on 88.1 FM, WLRA The Start, the Dump and Chase podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Dump and Chase podcast on 88.1 FM, WLRA The Start, Lewis University in Romeoville, Illinois. Don't know what that was, but we're back.
And that's an oops.
We have just wrapped up hour 2 into hour 3 now on our marathon broadcast. Today we'll be on until 6. 4 more hours to go. We're already 2 hours in. It kind of flew by.
Yeah, it did.
It kind of went by quickly. Let's hope that the final 4 go by quickly as well.
Sorry, I sneezed.
Jake just had the weirdest sneeze ever.
I was trying to cover it.
Before the break, We did a little bit of a mid-season review, a mid-season review. Wow, I'm losing my mind. We're only 2 hours in.
Hey,
A
you
meet
know
and greet
how
with
we
the
start
season.
every episode?
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
We haven't had one of those yet.
Did you just hear
That's true.
what happened?
We're going to have... Okay, we had a little mid-season review. There we go. Got that. Of the Flyers hockey team. And now we're going to talk about their future games, what is coming up on the schedule for them, and which ones we will be broadcasting.
Well, the next victim is Oshkosh here on November 8th and 9th. So this coming weekend, Flyers look to skate all over them against this Titans team. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to be that biased. Anyway, yeah, so
we can be biased. We're Lewis's radio station. We can be biased.
We could be biased to a degree, but there's a line I don't cross at the one point.
Well, you're not calling the game right now, so you can be as biased as you
Well,
want.
yeah, but like even
We're going to win.
Yeah.
But again, even professional broadcasters usually don't show that kind of bias either. So
Okay,
outside
but
of
we're
broadcasting,
the college's radio station.
you know what?
We
It's
support
preparing
all of
me.
You
our
have to be
teams.
passionate.
It's preparing me for. Yeah, well, I mean, I am passionate. That's not gonna go away. But anyway, yeah. So their next game is against Oshkosh, November 8th and 9th. That series coming up for you this weekend. Then they're gonna come back home for three series of games against Marquette, Wyona State, and Aurora. So 3 straight home series games throughout
Yay.
3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. Starting on November 15th and 16th against Marquette. That's going to be a good game. Marquette's a very well-known university
From the home country.
from the home country of Reid's home country.
Yep.
So they're going to come to Romeoville and play our Flyers team. Then they will face Wyona State on the 22nd and 23rd, also at Canlin. So that should be another nice game. And then against Aurora on December 6th and 7th. And we're going to be bringing you the Wyona State game on the 22nd and 23rd. So we'll be able to broadcast that game. We might be able to broadcast Aurora.
Yeah.
But
I
because
say we
Aurora's
do
a
it.
possibility.
it is a possibility, but because it's
right before
finals, we
Yeah.
have to figure out and jumble the times there.
Figure out what finals you actually have.
Yeah, exactly. And
If
then
any.
they
If any,
will
yes.
basically have a Christmas break for a month. They will come back in January 17th to face Loyola at home at 7:30 on January 17th, but then the reverse game will be on the 18th.
road.
We'll be on the road at Loyola, which is not too far away from
It's
here.
in Evanston, which is, what do we say, like an hour?
Like an hour.
Yeah,
Hour, that's not bad.
because it's a little bit north of Chicago, but
Got it.
so yeah, it would still be a nice road trip for the Flyers. They're not too far from home
Yeah.
against this Loyola team, so that will be.
Are we going to broadcast that game? 'Cause that
I know
game-
we were looking
game-
into it.
We thought this was a typo on the schedule. The game is at 10:50 at night
That's past my
because
bedtime.
it's part of
I was
a
gonna
full.
say,
it's
yeah.
a full day of hockey.
Which is weird.
Correct, with
Yes.
multiple teams,
Yes.
kind of like a tournament kind of ish.
Yeah.
But it's at 10:50.
Yeah, oddly enough, ACHA Division II has so many teams and so many different times for each team. But yeah, that is not a typo.
Yeah.
Because the ACHA already actually, I've seen some games that have started as late as 11:30.
That's crazy.
At night. So
That's wild. We
Yeah.
can be very fortunate for our 7:30 and 5 o'clock starts for the Flyers games.
yeah, I was gonna say
That one is
so-
still up in the air, though. We have to decide, because that's going to be a long night. We'd be back here at like 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be at least be able to do the first one.
The
but
first one, yeah.
Man, that second one, that's that'll be tough. That'll be
We'll
tough.
have to see
but,
about that one.
We'll have to pull some strings to do that.
Yes.
And then the next one will be against DePaul
Yeah.
at
Senior
home too.
night.
Senior
night.
24th
night.
and 25th against DePaul. Good old DePaul University down in Chicago. Coming to Romeoville, so again, not too far of a drive for DePaul. But yeah, so DePaul will visit us at home for senior night. That should be a good game there too.
Yep.
Hopefully the Flyers will come up with a win at home there, and then their last series will be against Marion University
Yep.
on February 1st and 2nd. The Marion Sabres.
Another team from the home country.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all these teams. And we have to.
Which is weird because all these teams are from Wisconsin and not
there are
any
a lot
other
of Wisconsin
state.
teams.
Like I would,
Yeah.
you would figure that like some teams would come from like Indiana or something because
Well, when I
yeah.
saw
Indiana's
Marion, I
closer.
thought it was the
Winona's
Marion
from
Indian.
Minnesota.
They're from where? Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Marion.
No,
Winona.
Winona.
Oh, Winona. Okay.
Bowling Green is Ohio.
Winona. Oh, Winona. Oh,
Winona.
Yeah. I kept pronouncing a Winona.
Words
wow.
are hard. Where's Bradley? Bradley's
Bradley's from Peoria, Illinois.
Peoria. Got it. Yes.
Where's Purdue Northwest? I think that's also in.
That's in Illinois.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's in Illinois too.
They play their games at the Kankakee Ice place, right? That's where Purdue Northwest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kankakee Valley Ice Center.
Oh wait, this is saying that Purdue Northwest is in Indiana.
They have a campus. Their
Oh, do
main
they have
campus
multiple
is
campuses?
Indiana.
Okay.
So it's kind of like Lewis. We have one in.
It's a satellite campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That makes
We're
sense.
all in state right now, I think. So.
No.
Wait, we are?
Lewis?
Yeah.
No, we have one in.
Lewis has
New
one down in New
Mexico.
Mexico, but that's like at
That's
an
like
Air
Force stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. The more you know.
The more you know
Yeah.
Learn something new
about
every
our
day.
school.
Yep.
I guess if you're gonna make anything, you might as well make it in one of the southern states, where it's all desert.
Got enough room to land all the planes, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, that makes
I guess
sense.
so.
You can fly over to Area 51.
Oh boy.
But
All right,
Those
yeah.
are the future
So that's
games
the
for the
future
Flyers.
games.
Looking forward to all of those. They're always fun to broadcast.
It'll be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 series of games for the Flyers still left to go.
Yay.
And there's actually been only 5 done, so it's a 5-7 ratio. So there's 7 more games on the season, but it feels like we've already done 7 games almost. It's flying by kind of fast. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's only been 5 games, and we've actually done we've done a whole series and then 1 Bradley game, 2 whole series, a Bradley game and a Robert Morris game. So yeah, so it feels like we've done a lot of games, but in reality, it's only been 5 series of matchups, and we still have 7 more to go in this season.
I think it feels like we've done a lot because we've also did the player profiles,
Yeah, that too.
That's
and then
that's fair.
we're doing a Flyer Nation episode for him too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But it's kind of cool that this season is so long, and there's just a lot of hockey action for a good five months. So
Yep. I agree. Yeah.
and all the way into February too. So
there's plenty of hockey, which is great.
once you're done with college hockey in February, you can get ready for the playoff race in the NHL.
Exactly.
Which
that's
we'll
fun.
have coming up right next for you here on WLRA 88.1 FM, Lewis University in Romeoville. So stay tuned.